Hey Bowtie Nation, Joseph Hogue here with a little tough love for you to save your sanity and your portfolio. You've seen the ridiculous promises here on YouTube. Stocks that are going to make you rich in 90 days. No, wait, 26 days. No, 19 days. Hell, I've even done it myself because you can't teach people if they don't watch. But it's all bullshit because no one, not even the Oracle himself, knows what the next 19 days is going to bring. Even the next 365 days. What I can tell you though is if you hook into the big picture themes, the trillion-dollar markets and the disruptive technology changing our lives, it will make you a millionaire. I'm going to show you the biggest trillion-dollar themes, the unstoppable forces, along with the 5 stocks that are going to change our lives over the next 10 years, all while making you rich. No hype, no false promises. And nation, this all comes from experience and not all the good kind. I started investing all the way back in 1999, and for the first 10 years, I did almost everything wrong. Years before I worked as a professional analyst and in venture capital, I was in the Marine Corps bartending 2 nights a week just to get a little extra money into the market. But what was I doing with it? I want to get to those unstoppable forces and the stocks to buy, so I'm going to tell you later, but short answer, I was losing my ass. But let's get into the first of our 4 unstoppable themes, the trillion-dollar forces that are going to turn stocks into your own personal ATM. First up here, the endgame for artificial intelligence, with a robot in every home. Folks, not only does AI want to replace knowledge work, but once robots learn how to carry a box rather than crushing it, the 5th industrial revolution will have started. This is a $350 billion market opportunity just over the next 5 years, and then growing exponentially from there into trillions of dollars when that consumer robotics market takes off. From the industrial robotics segment, which is the oldest use case and almost at $90 billion in sales, to medical robotics at $25 billion and the consumer market at $13 billion, the overall robotics theme is growing at a 16% pace. But like a lot of the themes we're going to look at, that growth hides an even faster upside in the individual segments and some of the stocks in them. Nation, this is so important. Once you have that trillion-dollar growth theme, you drill down into those segments within that theme to find the even faster growth. Then, and I'm going to show you how to do this later, then you find those stocks leading in those fastest growth segments, growth leveraged on top of growth for that triple-digit returns. It is in these big picture ideas where you need to start, not with some hot stock of the day. But that's where I started. Back in 1999, it was the pets.com internet stocks and whatever some guy at the bar said was going to pop next. Turns out, it wasn't the stock that popped, but the bubble. And nation, that is not investing. It's gambling, but I wouldn't realize it for another 10 years. And here, it's not enough to be a leader in that larger industrial robotics segment because that's only growing at 11% a year. You want to find the stocks poised to take advantage of that 25 and 30% growth in consumer and cobot segments, or better still, the leaders in one segment that can retrofit their bots to dominate in multiple areas. And it's in Symbotic, ticker SYM, that we find the potential to move from that larger industrial robotics segment into these others. I've been aggressively buying shares here, up 118% this year and up 98% on my average cost, the 4th largest holding in my portfolio. I've covered Symbotic a lot lately on its radical change to the $1.2 trillion warehouse market. Walmart owns 11% of the stock and uses it in all 42 regional distribution centers. The robots are also used in the Target and Albertsons systems, and SoftBank invested $625 million in a joint venture to roll out Symbotic everywhere, transforming the global logistics market. The company already has a $23 billion backlog of orders, which means that 20% forecasted sales growth to $2.2 billion this year just keeps on growing for years. And here, why I think Symbotic can still surprise on the upside long term is its scalability and that reach into other segments. Its autonomous mobile robots and vision systems could be expanded into retail automation, consumer applications, as well as delivery, all high growth verticals. We're just getting started on our list of stocks, but nation, even the best stocks aren't going to mean a damn thing if you sell too early or hold on to those losers for too long. Investors are always asking me to review their portfolios, and right now I'm doing just that. For the first time ever, I'm offering one-on-one portfolio reviews to all you out there in the Bowtie Nation. This is part of a research project I'm doing to understand investor behaviors and better help you invest. If you're interested, use the link I'll leave in the description below to learn more. On that page, you'll share the investments you've bought and sold over the last 3 years, along with your goals and risk level. With that, we're going to be able to see if your actual investments match your goals, if you're selling too early or too late. I'll then personally review your investing strategy, highlighting the risks and opportunities, and give you actionable suggestions to align with your goals. I'm not selling anything here, and I won't try to when we talk. I'll be using the data to research investor behavior, so you're also going to be helping other investors, but I will never share your name or your data with anyone. This is going to be a big project, so spots are limited. If you want in, Look for that link below and get your free one-on-one. Back to our four themes, and one of the biggest here, Agentic AI, with an astounding 52% forecasted annual growth rate, already changing lives, but not always for the better. Agentic AI is an AI system that doesn't just follow instructions, but makes decisions, learns, and acts independently, like a personal assistant who doesn't just take notes, book flights, and respond to emails, but also fires your ass when you're no longer needed. And nation, that means a cold reality coming for a lot of people. Amazon itself has said that the use of AI will reinvent every customer experience, with more than 1,000 AI applications now in development across shopping, coding, advertising across the entire company. Even more telling though, and a sign of things to come, e-commerce leader Shopify has instituted a new rule of no new hires unless AI cannot do the job. Now think about that. Teams at the company are integrating AI into every part of their workflow, and for every task or job needed, the company will only hire it if AI cannot do that job. We've already seen how AI has helped Klarna cut marketing costs by 25%, saving more than $10 million just in the first year of use. And while every CEO is saying artificial intelligence is only going to create more jobs, here with Shopify, we have a company coming right out and saying it. If AI can do the job, a human will not. The Agentic AI tools market at just $6.2 billion last year is forecast to grow to over $420 billion by 2030, growth of 52% a year. And frankly, I think even that underestimates as AI continues to develop and can do more jobs. Nation, investing in this theme isn't just about making those triple-digit returns on the stocks involved. It is about securing your financial future before AI takes your job. It's about having enough FU money from your portfolio so you don't need to work anymore. And one of the biggest players here in this space at $204 billion, ServiceNow, ticker NOW. The company's Agentic AI solutions, its AI Agent Studio and Orchestrator, help businesses deploy and coordinate agents from onboarding employees to resolving those IT issues. And few other companies offer the kind of holistic use case here. Pre-built and customizable agents make the product accessible to any company, and a unified platform seamlessly integrates AI agents across departments. That helps give ServiceNow an advantage for those hesitant companies that aren't yet sure about Agentic AI. And since mid-March, the company's partnership with NVIDIA is propelling that leadership through integrations with NVIDIA's AI enterprise software, including its NeMo framework and NIM microservices. The collaboration enhances the productivity across some of the biggest industries for AI, including cybersecurity and telecom. Now, growth in customers is what's important here. With that growth of enterprise clients and then signing up those large clients of $1 million or more, this is where ServiceNow has that advantage, growing larger customer relationships by 30% over the past 2 years. On forecast for 2025 sales of $13 billion, almost 19% growth from last year, a 17 times price to sales multiple, the stock is worth at least $1,100 a share. And all you out there in the nation are going to recognize my top pick in Agentic AI, Soundhound AI, ticker SOUN, the stock I started recommending last year at $4 a share, now up over 167% from that point. Soundhound isn't trying to be another ChatGPT copy like Anthropic or Claude, but is focusing on that voice AI layer, the next step technology that is going to bring AI into our everyday lives through voice assistants. Soundhound has been developing its speech-to-meaning engine technology for more than a decade, and instead of converting the voice to text, then analyzing the meaning like a lot of other companies are doing, Soundhound's platform interprets meaning directly from voice, faster and with fewer errors in real-time world environments. And from basically nothing, this could be a $160 billion market within the next few years, with Soundhound dominating in the theme. Think about that. The company booked just $84 million in sales last year, but is set to carry a controlling share of a $160 billion market. Sales are expected up 88% this year, 27% next year to $202 million. This one just keeps on going. The company has already landed partnerships with Hyundai, Mercedes-Benz, MasterCard, and White Castle, integrating its real-time voice assistant into cars, payment terminals, and even drive-thrus. Real applications that are bringing AI into the world right now. The upside to that $160 billion market on what is really just a tiny, tiny company right now at just $3.9 billion market cap is immense. On even a fraction of that market, 5% market share for $8 billion in annual sales and a valuation multiple of 10 times, it would mean a $198 share price, a 20 times return on your money. Now, the stocks in this video are my highest conviction long-term picks, but that doesn't mean they're going straight up. That's why I like to use options investing to not only amplify my returns, but also reduce risk. For example, I can go here to the January 2027 options on Soundhound and see that I can buy the stock and at the same time sell the call options at the $20 strike price for $2.84 each. Now, this is called the covered call strategy and is one of my favorites for creating immediate dividend cash flow from a stock while also lowering my risk. I collect that $2.84 for every share I owned, immediately getting a 25% cash return on my investment. Effectively, those sold call options lower my price of the stock to just $8.40 each. And if Soundhound closes above $20 by expiration, I will have made 138%, more than double my money. But here the beauty is, if they don't pass that $20 each, I keep the 25% cash return plus the stock, and I can do it all over again. Now, if that 138% potential return sounds interesting, but you're not sure about how to use options investing yet, look in the description below for a special community discount on our options course. You're going to save $150 off the course, get the strategy finder and the options calculator, all with a 14-day free trial, so make sure you check that out. Now understand, I'm not saying that AI stocks aren't in a bubble right now and are going to be straight up for the next decade. What I am saying is, just like that dot-com crash that set internet stocks back 60 and 80%, the theme was still going to change our lives, taking stocks like Amazon from a 2002 low of 65 cents a share to $233 today, a 35,000% return. Now, of course, I still didn't know that and wasn't investing long-term anyway. When the 2008 crash came, I was still chasing those stocks like a toddler with a pixie sticks addiction. Then that crash cut my portfolio in half, years of investing gone in just a matter of weeks. But then that was my wake-up call. I was tired of watching my money disappear every time the market got shaky, so I made a decision. I started learning how companies actually create value, how these long-term trends shape the markets, and I started working as an analyst on Wall Street. And that's when I put together this core step-by-step process for finding those trillion-dollar ideas and then the stocks to watch within each. So like we're doing with this video, you start with those big disruptive forces changing our lives. Each of these themes, from robotics to AI to cybersecurity, are trillion-dollar markets that are going to take every stock in that group higher. And that alone makes investing a win-win scenario. Even if you don't find the very best stocks to buy, you know those bigger forces, the momentum of trillions of dollars in market opportunity for those themes, going to lift all the stocks involved. But then that alone isn't going to make you a millionaire either. That's like investing in Oracle instead of Amazon. Yeah, a 4,300% return is okay, but it's not the 300 plus times your money. So within each of those big themes, you're looking for the stocks leading the way, the companies growing faster and taking market share with a competitive advantage. Now that's a unique, defensible product or a strategy that makes one company outperform its competitors. In that, we're talking unique tech like Soundhound's ability to create meaning directly from speech rather than having to convert it to text first. Now, it's not always easy to find those competitive advantages, so one clue you can look for is in a company's sales growth and its operating margin. For example, Soundhound must be doing something right to be booking that 88% sales growth this year or the 300% growth over the last 3 years. So here, you're looking for companies growing their sales much faster than the competition and faster than that industry average. Some competitive advantage that is helping them grow that revenue and take market share from the rest. Another clue might be in a company's operating margin, the percentage of sales left over after paying production and operating costs, and really my favorite core measure of profitability. For example, how is Fortinet able to convert more than 30% of its sales into profits, well above any other company in its space? What competitive advantage does it have that makes it more efficient? Now, these are the clues that point out the company with a competitive advantage that can make it the next Amazon in a theme, rather than just an Oracle. This next theme was my first big winner when I started investing instead of gambling. That's because cybersecurity has been the one constant over the last 10 years and will be over the next 10 as well. Cybersecurity spending is growing at a double-digit clip and expected to hit nearly $400 billion by 2028. That's up from around $265 billion today. And in fact, security now makes up just under 7% of total IT budgets. That number is steadily climbing as CIOs rank it among their top 3 priorities year after year. That's because the attack surface, the industry term for the different places a hack can happen, is growing. And while companies used to operate inside their own secure network perimeters, now the network is everywhere. Users are remote, apps are in the cloud, and data is scattered across devices and platforms. That shift has made identity, endpoint, and cloud security mission critical, and budgets are following that threat. And add to that the growing cost of failure. In 2024, the average data breach cost nearly $5 million. Ransomware attacks hit 72% of large companies. Companies don't just want better protection, they need it. My favorite company in this space, CrowdStrike Holdings, ticker CRWD, up 109% since I started buying and still heading higher. Not only does CrowdStrike lead in several of the industry segments like endpoint security and SIEM, it's building on the future of AI cybersecurity that's going to tie all the segments together with its Charlotte AI, an agentic cybersecurity assistant that's redefining how security operations work. Unlike traditional AI tools that require prompts and manual interpretation, Charlotte operates like a teammate, automating investigations, generating scripts, and making recommendations in natural language. That means faster threat response, lower workloads, and a more scalable defense. The company's XDR platform Falcon is now the most adopted in the industry, with 60% of customers using 5 or more modules, nearly half using 6 or more, a sign of deep customer entrenchment. At this point, CrowdStrike is unstoppable. The company captures over 1 trillion security events per day, fueling both Charlotte's AI learning and the real-time threat graph that underpins its detection capabilities. Now, this is analysis I put together in our most recent cybersecurity video, and you see, CrowdStrike doesn't have the highest growth or the best operating margin of the group, but it is a solid performer, and what I like most is the company's leadership in the segments seeing the fastest growth, like cloud, endpoint security, and agentic AI. Cybersecurity has been my best theme over the years, and when I first started following after I stopped chasing those short-term gains and started building around those unstoppable trends, and it has made all the difference. I didn't need to guess what stocks would do next week. I just had to ask myself, will this theme change our lives over the next 10 years? And now, a little more than 10 years from that realization in 2008, that portfolio I built from this shift in thinking is worth over $2.5 million. Not because I found the next meme stock, but because I finally understood how investing really works. Next, I'm going to show you one theme that is just getting started, one that could be a $7 trillion market and the stocks to buy to ride that out. But just as important as the what you buy is the how you buy it. Check out the video here in the corner next for how to invest in stocks to replace your income. 5 stocks and a $1,000 plan to retire early. Now, this next $1 trillion theme is the newest, but could be one of the biggest, the new era of digital money and stablecoins. With the passage of the Genius Act last month and several other bills working their way through Washington, we are going to see this grow into a $7 trillion market within the next 2 years. Stablecoins are just digital dollars, tokens set up to keep their value to a currency like the US dollar, and with these, assets from real estate to stocks and really any asset can be tokenized with the investment split up and traded digitally. And I know all the crypto jargon can be confusing, and all this still sounds like some Bitcoiner's wet dream, but folks, stablecoins are gonna happen, if nothing else because of how these are set up to keep their value. When you buy a stablecoin, the issuer, like Tether or Circle, invests most of that money into US Treasury bills, government debt that pays an interest rate but is extremely safe. Tether earns that interest. The stablecoin keeps its value to the dollar, and why this is all happening so fast, the US government gets trillions of dollars in Treasury demand, forcing the rate lower it pays on its debt. Now, I've recommended Fiserv and other companies in this theme, but the most direct winner is going to be Ethereum, the infrastructure, the digital road that allows stablecoins to move from one person or a business to another. More than 27% of Circle's USDC supply and 15% of Tether is on Ethereum, and all the leading Layer 2 systems settle on the network. All this crypto jargon can be confusing, but just understand, Ethereum is stablecoins, and we're not going to see that 8 times growth without it. The Grayscale Ethereum ETF, ticker ETH, is up more than 57% just since recommending it last month, but still with 3 to 5 times your money as every company from JP Morgan to Amazon and Walmart creates their own stablecoins. Nation, if I could go back and tell that younger me, the one sitting at the bar trying to get those hot stock tips, I'd say, you do not need that miracle stock. You just need a damn good plan. If you can hook into these themes like in this video and the stocks leading the way, you can skip the decade of mistakes it took me to figure that out. Get your free one-on-one portfolio analysis, but only for the next month, so look for that link in the description below. Don't forget to join the Let's Talk Money community by tapping that subscribe button and clicking the bell notification.